What's up, Average Joes? Today, I want to give you lots of updates on my year in reading so far, a little bit of a preview in 2022 books, and just some other life and other updates going on right now. So, how's it going, everyone? We are back, and it is 3 quarters through 2021 right now. So, I want to do a check in. I like doing these quarterly reading update check ins. I don't do monthly wrap ups because no books are ever started and finished exactly within the same month. But quarterly check ins is what I really like to do and focus on because I like having a broader picture as to my reading and my reading goals. If you don't know, I make a priority tiered list each year, and I just want to make sure I'm checking those off and what my progress is. So, looking at it quarterly, it makes it a lot easier as well because then I can have a 3 month plan of, okay, I think this series is what I'm going to focus on. This one I might fade into. This is the kind of mood that I'm working on. So this is what I'm a 3 months look at it is to me, it's a lot easier, makes a lot more logical sense than just, okay, this month I have this many books that I need to read, and then we'll see what happens next month. And then it's like I need to cram all these books into this month or anything like that. So quarterly priority tiered lists, I think, are the best. But whatever else is going on now. So it is officially football season. I am a big football fan, if you did not know. So just a little bit of insight there. I am a big Steelers fan. If you haven't ever seen me drink out of this while it's on here, it's always on my desk. But typically when I'm back in the States, so I don't live in the States right now. And typically when I do, Sundays, I'm watching football all day, 7 hours on Sunday. I don't get any reading done then. So normally in the fall, when football season happens, my reading goes way down. Like one less entire book a month happens because that's 6-7 hours dedicated to watching football. And then also I am very big into fantasy football. So I'm listening to more fantasy football podcasts instead of books, or doing more stuff with my lineups and everything. So reading typically in the fall goes down. But since I'm still overseas, I basically can't watch football because football starts at 9 p.m. here, and I am an old person and go to bed by then. So I basically don't watch almost any football. So my reading shouldn't be affected that much going into this last quarter. And it's kind of a good thing because I have a couple of things that I have going on, like some buddy reads that are going to be ending in November, and some other ones that I'll throw in. But largely, it's going to be mood reading until next year, until 2022, and then I will be hitting my next year's reading hard then. So today we're going to get into my 2021 reading so far for the first 3 quarters. I'm recording this at toward the middle of September, or probably end of September. So if you didn't know earlier on in the year, if you watched any of my other quarterly check-ins or the one from the beginning of the year, how am I reading, how I determine what I read, and my TBRs are, I have a priority tiered list that I make at the beginning of the year. When I make that priority tiered list for the year, it stays on that list, and then I don't edit the list. I only just put checks next to it. So when I look at my reading for that I want to do for the year, because I know of the plan that I want to make, the big macro view plan, I have a top priority tier to where these are the priority series that I want to read this year. 100%. This is on the forefront of my mind. Typically, that's how I hit the year starting off. Then I have secondary. These are going to be the ones that I fit in between the priority ones, or ones when I just want to fit in. But those are the two top tier priority secondary ones that I really like to aim during the year. After that, I have the wild card ones that I just want to throw in. This is more of like, hey, these series are on my radar, but we'll see if I can fit it in. This is going to be mood reading. This is going to be, hey, what should I read next coming up this next month or two, this next quarter? And I'll look in like, okay, maybe one of these wild card ones will fit in and be good. And that's what they're just wild cards. They may or may not pop up. Who knows? And then I have some. Last year I made like one for Kindle Unlimited, but that list has grown so much that I don't think I'm going to do that next year. Maybe I'll distinguish it a little bit, but I still like for them to fall into tiers. And then there's a continuation one to where longer series, those are like Dresden will go down there because those are just going to fit in whenever I can or whenever I feel like, just purely based on mood. I can delay or pick them up any which way I want. So to get into my reading tier list so far, I've done pretty decent as far as, and I'm going to record the my list so I can show you here now anyway. And what we have going on is, as you can see, my tiered list, what I did for my priority, I did pretty good on that. First Law was the first one I knocked out. That was January and February. I knocked those out, done. Red Rising was also February, March, April, done. Mistborn Era 2 was also February, March, April. I think I did that alongside Red Rising. So I did really good. Hit off the first quarter of the year was basically the first 9 of those books. And then I kind of just fell off, Dark Tower. And I mean, The Stand pretty much belongs in the Dark Tower. I only read one. I'm calling it a Dark Tower continuation book because I'm doing the whole multiverse reading. So I only read one book in the multiverse. It wasn't an actual Dark Tower book. So that's a bit of a letdown because I really need to get into that more. And The Stand, I might start this at the end of this year because it's just so big. I know it's going to be such a chore to read, but it's definitely something that I'm going to try and start maybe in November, maybe December, because I think November I have another big chunky sluggy read to get through. But priority wise, that's pretty good. So if you can see that, this is this is how I would recommend people go about their years and go about their even quarters. I'm not against monthly TBRs, but I just don't think they make much sense because books are always have carryover month to month, and people pile on 10, 12 books they want to read in a month and they only read 5 or 6. I mean, it's good to be ambitious, but I just have a much more practical, logical way to go about things. So priority looks good. Secondary, I got into some of the secondary. Powder Mage, I think I'm going to read book 2 very soon. This one's kind of being spaced out a little bit. But I read book 1 back in June, July timeframe, and I'll read book 2 soon. So that one's actually happening. Standalones, I'm not sure if I'll pick up a standalone by the end of the year. It's possible. I might get one under my belt by the end of the year. I think Best Served Cold is one I own or I'll get to next. Again, it'll just be a throw in. That's what secondary is there for. Insomnia, this is probably the one I should read over The Stand. It might actually happen that I read this over The Stand before The Stand because it's about 400 pages less for one, a whole lot less words. And I think that's just what I am in sequence order of multiverse. Sentinel Ascends through the first 2 books by October 1 or whatever, very beginning of October, I'll be starting The Hod King book 3, and then November will come book 4. So that will be knocked out this year. So that's another secondary book checked off. So pretty good there. Knights, the Old Republic, Legends. So this is Star Wars, the Old Republic, the older book. I'm going through the entire EU. I wish I read more. I was kind of hoping to do like 1 per month because they were super small, but I've gotten 4 down. That's decent. It's going to take a long time. This is a very much a long haul one, and I think next year that's going to be my continuation down with Dresden, down with Sebastian St. Croix and the like. So that's fine. Those are going to just be easy throw-ins because they are great palate cleansers, and just jumping back into Star Wars, you can always jump back into Star Wars universe. Sebastian, I did not continue. Extra. Okay, so I have extra and wildcard. So I forgot I did have kind of different. So extra would be, it's kind of like secondary B, I guess you could say. Black Company, I started it. This is 100% I wanted to get into, and I will be doing book 4. I think it's called The Silver Spike or something like that. I think that's technically the book 4. It's a novella or something. That will be coming soon, maybe in October, maybe November. October, I kind of want to get into some Halloweeny, spooky thriller reads, and I made 2 videos dedicated to that, so I might as well read as much of this as possible. Plus, I have 2 other fantasy read-alongs that I need to get that year or that month. So Black Company might be pushed a little bit. I'm kind of spreading these out a lot more than I thought I would, but they can be a bit, I don't know if heavy is the right word. The writing style is just hard to get too much of at once. You need to kind of like read a little. They read much slower than they are. It's only 270 some pages, but I can read a 500-page other book just as fast as these because I have to read them a little bit slow because the writing style is just not that as clear. But that's fine. Queen's Thief. This one's gotten pushed down because I'm still waiting for the final book to come out on paperback, which doesn't happen until like March. Like the book 6 has been out for well over a year. I don't know why paperback wasn't it's only released in hardback. I have all the on the paperback, and normally I'm not a stickler about that, but may as well for the 6th. So that one I'm kind of holding off on. Jurassic Park and Michael Crichton books. Hopefully, I can get a Michael Crichton book in by the end of the year. I just hauled a whole bunch of them, right back here. So I need to at least pick one up. They should be pretty fast reads anyway. So this might be December might just be full of throw-ins and standalones because of that. So hopefully I can get at least one of those this year. Jonathan Strange and Mission Norrell, probably not happening this year. A little bit too big. Foundation, not happening this year. Palette cleansers and wild cards. Bobbyverse, I did not start. I wish I did. The Culture, I'm pushing that on to next year. I think that's more of a series commitment, I think, because it's like 9 or 10 books. Discworld, I've almost started this like 3 times this year. It's going to be another one that I think I'm going to be able to just throw in randomly, like just whenever I feel like reading something like that. So we'll see if I even start it next year. I would really, really need to. I really want to, because it's going to be another one of those for the long haul. Like I don't need to binge it or bump them back to back each month. It's just going to be like, yeah, let's throw another Discworld book in. Man of the High Castle, read that. Shadow of the Gods. It took me so long to like actually like I got an arc of this like in the digital copy, and then I got the regular book back there, but I still haven't picked it up, even though I love John Gwynn's writing and everything that John Gwynn has put out so far. The main reason why I've procrastinated on it is because just the main thing with the series that I don't like having a year to wait after I read a book for the next in installment. So if anything, I'll wait until the second book is out, read the first one, then the second one, and then at least I have the first 2 that I read pretty quickly, and then I can savor it for the third book to come out. Either way, I'm going to be, I'll be reading them next year. John Gwynn is a favorite of mine, so it's going to happen. I just don't feel any rush to it to get to it, since I was already late to put anything out in the beginning, because that was the time when I got the ARC digital and I lost my Kindle, so I couldn't even read it. So by the time I could have gotten to it, it was too late. Neuromancer didn't get to, or any other Brandon Sanderson books besides the Mistborn Era 2. Continuation, I read 3 Dresden this year, or listened to 3 Dresdens this year. Sebastian St. Croix, didn't get to any. Finally caught up to The Expanse, so now I only have the final book, which comes out in a month or 2. And The Last Kingdom, I read 4, listened to 4 of those books this year. So that is the priority list, which I think I did pretty dang good on. If you ask me, if I don't know if you are asking me, but anyway, and some of my book stats so far this year are, I have, according to Goodreads, I've read 66 books. I think according to my own calculations, because I keep a hard list on my phone, and I think I'm only at, let's see, 60 according to my list. I'm at 60. I don't know why it has me at 66. Goodreads is always wrong. Last year it had me like 10 books short of what I was doing, so I have no idea which one's correct. I'm at the minimum of 60, and according to Goodreads, I've read 28,300 pages, which is a lot more than last year, but also last year they were 10 books short. So I don't know. I'm around about that. 28,000 pages, 60 books plus is what my year in books is. My average rating is 4.3. So pretty solid year, I think. Let's see, these past years, I've been pretty generous with book ratings. I'm not exactly a stickler. 4.3 average was last year. I'm definitely a 4-star strumpet. 4.1 was 2019. So that's basically where I'm at. I think I'm started to come down a little bit, and like 4 stars seems to be my default, and then only ones that like really wow me go to 5, and then other than that, if it's just like subpar, goes to 3. Very rarely do I ever give it 2. Anyway, so that is my 2021 so far progress of what is going on. Now let's look at my 2022 reading list and what I have going on. So I have not made the tiered list yet. This is just throughout the year. Earlier in the year, I was like, okay, these are some series that I really want to get to, but since I have already had this tiered list of this year, I'm going to put this off till next year. So I started making a 2022 list, and then recently I've gone through and I've revised it, edited it, added things. And when I think of stuff, I'll put them on there, and then I'll go back and edit it. I have some strike throughs to where I'm not sure if I'll get to them. So like Malazan and Wheel of Time, I think I've just decided to punt that for another year, especially because of starting Shadow of the Apt. That is 10 book series, and Shadow of the Act I'm loving, so I'm not going to start another ginormous series, especially when I'm already on the fence about both of them. Maybe I'll start Wheel of Time 1 or 2, depending on how the TV show goes, just to like familiarize myself. But that's about it. Other ones that I have, the little stock signs going. I should, the little stock sign going. It's going to be over there. Robin Hobb, 100%. I was supposed to start. I almost started hers books in June. I haven't read anything from Robin Hobb. And then because of the length of their books and how many other things that I had going on, I said, you know what, I'm just going to send this to next year. So that's probably going to be toward the top of my priority list. It is rising now. H.G. Wells is going down a little bit. Stormlight going down again because there is no rush to get to Stormlight, even though those books are huge. Book 5 doesn't come out for another 2 years or something. So I have time to get into those. Maybe I'll throw it in toward the end of the year just to get into it. Sun Eater is going up because I think because the 4th book is coming out either later this year or early next year, something like that. I think it's supposed to be a quartet. So once that's finished, I will be on board because I like finished series. Safehold, another sci-fi that's going down, and that's because I actually have a lot of sci-fi on here. Book of the New Sun is on there. H.G. Wells. Let's see what else. Peter Hamilton, The Mandela Files, Culture, sci-fi. All these things. Three Body Problem. These are all sci-fi. So we'll see how much sci-fi I want to get into. Safehold actually sounds really, really cool. I just don't know. I just don't own it, honestly. Some of these other ones, like Mandela Files, I own. Book of the New Sun, I don't own yet, but I think it's one that I really want to stress myself to try and read. It might be one of those philosophical sci-fi reads that just doesn't jive with me. That's more about thought-provoking than actual plot happening. I'm not really a fan of those sci-fi ones, so we'll see how that one goes. It might bump up something else if I just give up on the Book of the New Sun. Shadow of the App, 100%. That's rising. Cradle, I need to start. This is going to be a Kindle Unlimited hot one that I do for next year. They're super short books. I think there's 9 of them out, so I can even if they're not all done. I mean, they're not going to be all done, but he's regularly coming out with them, the books. So I have confidence that even if I do catch up, there'll still be another one coming out soon. But I probably won't catch up until 10 or 11 he's out with. Who knows? Dark Tower, that needs to be high on the priority tier list. I need to not punt that as much this year. Star Wars EU, that's going to be a throw-in. The Ship of Theseus, or S, you just look on Amazon. This one I want to get a group of people to do, so I might be putting out feelers for that soon, whether on BookTube or whatever. But this is a book that it comes up wrapped and bound, and there's a mystery to it, and you're basically solving the mystery as you're reading the book. And you can't open the book until you're ready to actually start it, because there's supposed to be some stuff in there that helps you go through the mystery. I think might be something where you read something, and if you have a hunch or how you want to do something, it might be like, okay, if you think this, go to page whatever. If you think this, go to page whatever. And then you have to do that kind of thing. So it's something that I really want to do with people. I think I'm going to get it as a gift to some people and see if everybody wants to do it. And yeah, so that might be something that I want. So if you're interested in that, look it up, see if you are. And I think it could be really fun to do with people. All these other ones are kind of trilogies, throw-ins. Anthony Ryan, I should start. That's probably going to be a secondary one. He has a bunch of books that I want to get into. Kingdom of Grit, Crimson Empire, Long Price Quartet, War for the Rose Throne. Those are all ones going to be thrown in. I might start rising on the War for the Rose Throne because it's another grimdark one. It's given me like Ash and Sand vibes, and I loved Ash and Sand. So we'll see. Black Iron Legacy, all of these are basically just going to be secondary throw-ins or tier 3 reads. So that is my 2022, early 2022 list. And next time you'll see that will be when it's actually broken down to priority tiers. So I think that's about it for this video. That's my 3/4 of the way through 2021 so far, and my looking ahead early on 2022. How's your 2021 going? How's your reading list? Do you have any sort of priority tier list, things you need to get done before the end of the year? Have you all started to make a 2022 reading list yet? Do you have ones that you have on your radar that you're saying, you know what, next year it's going to be the year I'm going to read this, this, and this? Let me know what you have going on. And if you have any others that match, my lists that I have put up, let me know and we can talk more in the comments.